Yeah, Manchester United, the players, the management team, and the fans would rather focus on the game against Brighton, Rob, than this issue, which isn't going to be an issue come kick-off time. I'm not sure they could have had much worse opponents because they're up against a Brighton side that's free-flowing and scoring goals and having fun. But it leaves United with a bit of a dilemma. What are they going to do in that kind of right wide area as far as taking on Brighton are concerned, because they've got fullbacks that do like to get forward?
Yeah, I mean, Stewart sort of mentioned there that there are issues at United within the squad beyond the Sancho problem. Obviously, there is a very pressing need now on the right-hand side. You've got Sancho who's unavailable. Anthony is also unavailable because he's got a leave of absence away from the club. The options for Ten Hag are Bruno Fernandes. He's done it in the past. He's done it in the past for Portugal, and Ten Hag has used Fernandes on the right-hand side as well. But, there's a school of thought that Fernandes is United's most creative player, and do you remove him from that central role to plug a gap on the right? Do you lose something from the entire team if you do that? The other option is Pellistri, a very, very young player who hasn't played an awful lot of football under Ten Hag, has impressed United fans when he's come on for his little 5-10 minute cameos. Maybe now is the time to give him a real run in the team. Obviously, it's a very big ask for a relatively young player to fill that gap, but at the moment, Ten Hag has got problems to solve all over the pitch. Stewart mentioned there that he's got issues at centre half. There are issues in the centre of midfield with no Amrabat and no Mount. And you've touched on it there. This run of games that they've got really couldn't come at a worse time. They've got Brighton at home on Saturday. Then they've got Bayern Munich away in the Champions League midweek, and then away at Burnley the following weekend. And United at the moment are rocking a little bit, and Ten Hag will know that results solve everything. If they can get 3 good results, this issue with Sancho and things, that'll seem in a distant past almost. But if things don't go right on the pitch, if they don't beat Brighton, if they lose to Bayern, if they then go to Burnley and lose, you're almost in sort of full-on crisis mode a couple of weeks into the season, and that's obviously not where Ten Hag wants to be.
They might have someone getting his first start, Robbo, as part of the 78 leagues that you cover on a weekly basis. Serie A is one of them. Rasmus Hojlund, you saw him at Atalanta. He made an impact as a sub just before the international break when he finally recovered from injury. A, are you expecting a start against Brighton for Hojlund? And B, what can Manchester United fans expect for a player that the club spent a lot of money on?
I'm hoping he gets a start, and I'm expecting him to get a start. Martial, was flattered to deceive for far too long. So I'm hoping Hojlund can come in and do a good job. Now, he's a player that's got most of the qualities you would expect of a good centre forward. He's got enough pace to run in behind. He can trouble defenders running down the side of him. He's good enough in the air to win balls when crosses come into the box. He's a decent finisher when I've seen him play. And his technique is quite good. Is he the player that will take Manchester United to the next level? I don't think he's the player at the moment. In maybe a year, 2 years' time, he could be a top-class player. At the moment, he's a good player that is developing into a very good player. So I'm not sure he's going to pull up any trees at the moment, but he's a player that I think Manchester United will get the best out of maybe in 2 years' time.
Rob, if he's fully fit, is there any reason not to start Rasmus Hojlund for Manchester United against Brighton?
No. They are short of forward players because of the issues we mentioned previously. Hojlund did particularly well when he came on against Arsenal. He looked very, very sharp. He looked like the type of centre forward that United have been missing over the last couple of years. He's 20 years old. There's an awful lot expected of him. There's an awful lot of pressure on his shoulders, but he has to start sooner rather than later. The only other options really at centre forward for Man United are Anthony Martial, who Stewart said has flattered to deceive, has not really put in a consistent run of form for a couple of years now. Or Marcus Rashford, who can do the job as a centre forward, but much prefers playing on the left-hand side. So if you're Erik Ten Hag looking to construct your front three to play Brighton, there's absolutely no reason at all why Rasmus Hojlund shouldn't start. Play Marcus Rashford on the left, and then you've got an issue to solve on the right. So I would very much expect Hojlund to start against Brighton on Saturday.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.